Good evening, everybody. We're getting ready to play our Thursday evening guitar session. DenverGuitarOrchestra.com is the website where we post links to these broadcasts along with the sheet music. Tonight, our plan is to play yesterday, Blackbird, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, Here Comes the Sun, and DGO Mystery Song number 2. So we'll be working on all of that this evening. We'll see how it goes. Let me get all this opened up. All right, so that should get our website up and running. WordPress updated, and now the automatic link doesn't work anymore. So, okay, so that's going to get us where we're supposed to get. It looks like I'm not looking at the camera in the little thing. Yeah, well, what are you going to do? All right, so everybody be here momentarily. I'm going to go post on Twitter that we're doing this. https://DenverGuitarOrchestra.com. And then I'm going to put a little image with it. Where's our Denver Guitar Orchestra logo? Tweet. All right, we're on Twitter. Close Twitter down. Let's see. I think that should do it. Everybody's loading in. I think we'll take this off. I worry about playing guitar with a sweatshirt on because you scratch your guitar with them. So we kind of it's cold out tonight, and so I let the temperature in the room drop, and all of a sudden now I wish I'd turned the heater on a little bit before this. But good evening, Evelyn. She says the sound is good. Kyla, how are you? Good to see you. Good evening to you. Vic, sound is good up in Eugene. Good to see you guys. I didn't send out an email this week, so who knows whether we'll have anybody show up or not. But you guys know on the drill. Hopefully people show up. If they do, that's helpful. If they don't, it's okay too. The big thing is that you're feeling like you're making progress at becoming a better guitarist. And for whatever that means, we all have a different opinion about what that looks like for us. And hopefully this just gives you another chance to go through some reps, play some a little bit more popular tunes than I usually go through, and a little bit more difficult songs. And so hopefully all of that works pretty well for you. Tonight we have also our final playthrough for DGO Mystery Song number 2. And so hopefully that's coming along for you. It's a pretty little song, I think. And so we'll give it a try. Some of you guys will not necessarily be interested in the untabbed songs, but that's okay. And guys, I have not been able to read emails since Monday. So what is today? Thursday. So I'm way backed up on email again. I'm going to hopefully get to it tonight. But if you sent me an email, I didn't probably in the last couple of days. I probably didn't read it. So I read everything, and if I can, I respond to you. But it's, as you know, it's hit or miss whether that happens or not. Let's see, how should we proceed this evening? Tonight, I think maybe just go down the list that's on the website. Let's start with yesterday and see how that plays. I think last week was starting to feel like the song was making sense to me. And I don't have any notes on my sheet music whatsoever about weird things that we need to do with it. Other than we have that typo where it shows a forward repeat bar. It measures 16, and you could ignore that. There's the backward repeat bar there at the end of 15 is important, but the forward repeat bar is there apparently from some previous iteration. So let's give it a try. Hope you all are feeling great tonight. How are you feeling, Internet? I have been sort of deciding make myself only play this full-size classical guitar. And I have to be honest, I think it's too big, but I'm going to make myself do it, and we will see if eventually I can get where I don't despise it. Good evening, Pauline. Glad you're here. We're playing yesterday, everybody, and we're not going to play anything fast tonight. I am kind of pooped from my week already, and I think we'll just take each song at whatever pace the guitar gives it back to me, and hopefully, obviously, you guys, when you're on your own, you're playing it at whatever speed makes sense to you. And I have a tendency to be a slow player. I'm trying to get everything just so and get the tones really full and beautiful. And I'm never in a hurry, ever really, until the final performance. Well, the rehearsal before the final performance, I like it to be a little faster. But other than that, I don't see any reason to really rush on music. So let's see how yesterday goes. Good evening, Arlo. Good to see you. And let's give it a try. Start with your C chord and pinky. I'll play tough acts first, and then if you have anything that you see that as we're going along, just toss a chat note in the chat bar. Hey, let's talk about this, or what about this situation, and maybe we can help you. Because if you got the question, somebody else probably has a question too. From the top, as written. Remember, we play down through 7, come back to the top, and then we play all the way down to 15, and then we come back again and play through it a third time. So the top gets played 3 times, the middle gets played twice, and the bottom gets played once. Here we go, from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boy, that one's hard to get on. How are we playing? How is that getting us warmed up? We don't want to play it a second time. I feel like about the third time the room's starting to be like, oh yeah, I remember this part. For me, 657 is going to always be a problem, or 756, I should say, and measure 4, because you're coming out of. What are you coming out of? Well, bar 5. Just middle finger, stand your index finger up, add your ring finger. And I like having the 0 on the low end. So I'm probably going to add that on. I think that sounds pretty. And all right, let's play it one more time. It's funny, you play books 1, 2, and 3 all week long. And I play them over and over and over. And then you get to a Thursday night, and you're like, oh gosh, this is why it's book 4, right? This is harder stuff. So you guys are kind of with me during the week. You're like, yeah, I'm getting pretty good guitarist, and then you come to level 4, and you're like, well, I think I still have some work to do. Okay, the C chord with the F in measure 21. Measure 21. Let's go take a look at measure 21. I don't think measure 21 seems right, Vic. I have an A7 and a D7 in there. A minor 7th and a D7th. Is that measure 20? Okay. I was like, oh, okay. And I think I even remember us talking about this when we first handed this song out. Like, what in the heck? It shows up there, and it also shows up in measure. Where else does it show up? There's one other place, measure 5. So same situation in 5 and 20. So yeah, you're sitting with the C chord, but the melody note's an F, obviously. Normally, as an arranger, I'm just going to play the F because it doesn't make sense in the C chord, right? You've got the F note and the C chord. That's the wrong note. It should be an E, which happens the next spot over. The reason I had to put a chord there, it's beat number 1, right? It's the very first beat of the measure. And so if you don't put a chord there, putting it in later sounds weird. It is entirely possible that when the Beatles were singing this, they sang the melody note prior to arriving at chord 5. So they could have probably were singing, now it looks as though they're here, strum today. But because we are instrumentalists, we don't quite have the smooshy wooshiness available to us. So we have to improvise. So what I'm doing is I'm playing that C chord, but I'm just laying this finger straight over both of those strings. Okay? And it sounds pretty cool, actually. Okay, so you're going to do lay down your index finger and then these two, as if C chord weren't hard enough. This is plenty hard, but now we're going to have to do, in addition to that, we're going to lay this down. You could you do a full bar? No, you can't do a full bar because you've got to leave the that string open. So full bar won't work. So partial bar on 1, middle and ring up where they go on a usual C chord. Strum it down, and then stand your index finger up, and then add the pinky, and then go on. Yeah, when I saw that, I'm like, F, F. um, it's one of the joys of one of the great aggravations of arranging. You're going along, everything's working out great. Oh, we got a C chord, and the B minor seventh makes sense, and then A minor up on the fifth fret makes sense, and then C chord with an F. Are you kidding me? What? How are we going to play that? And if it was any other beat than beat number one, I would have played the F, but by itself. But since it's on the first beat of the chord, I'm going to lay that C chord in, flatten out my index finger, and it sounds cool. It sounds right. Hit the zero, and then strum through. So yeah, I agree. Vic's like, I don't think I like that very much. Or do one strum of F in the C. You could do that as well. So Arlo's just gone ahead and put an F chord on top of that. I think that would be one other opportunity. I'm not sure that makes it any easier, to be honest, though, Arlo. I mean, it's a cool idea, right? It doesn't feel like the right chord to me. It feels a little too bright, but you could get away with it. But yeah, there you go, right? And that's also one of those things as an arranger you think about. You're like, so the note's an F, but the chord's supposed to be a C. Should I start? So a lot of times I will mess around with other chords to see if I can find a better solution to that. In this case, I do think the C chord is correct, and I do think the F melody note was probably started vocally in the previous measure, and then resolved in the current measure. But that doesn't do us any good because we don't have the luxury of, starting the note and then somehow getting off of that and letting it ring. That's the problem. Once you come off the note, then it stops ringing, obviously. If you're on a piano, you might be able to pull it off with the sustain pedal, but we don't have that luxury. So you'll lay that index down and then stand it up, and I think that solves the problem. The only other thing I'm fighting, measure 9, I've got this bar 5. This C note needs to be underneath an F chord, and there's no really convenient F chord hanging out right here in the middle of all things. There just doesn't seem to be a really convenient F chord here, so I've sort of dropped the chord there. I'm going to see if I can eventually find something to put under there, but right now it feels a little naked. Cheat and use the partial bar first 2 strings. Yeah, right. You could just do that. Yeah, you can do that. Partial bar. Or just let's leave it open. Just play those 2 by themselves. There's that. Arlo. Knows that. No, Arlo's a good guitarist because he knows all of the ways to fix things on the spot. I don't think that's terribly difficult, though. I do think just lay down that. Hopefully you get done. All right, that's a long talk on that. Let's play it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's good, right? The arrangement's fine. Arrangement's fine. Um, I think it sounds like the song. I would just go ahead and memorize it. I'm already starting to get little sections of it memorized. I don't know if you guys end up doing that too, but anytime I see a run, when you're going to go 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, I get where I just memorize that little section because I can't watch the paper. I got to go down and look at my hand. And of course, so you end up memorizing it. And then all you got to know is what's the next chord that happens after that. And you're like, oh yeah, then the sevens, the fives with the seven come in. And so then you start to make that where it sounds pretty nice. And kind of fun to do. All right. Hopefully that's going well for you guys. Next up was Blackbird. Let's go grab Blackbird. That was a new one. Was that new last week or 2 weeks ago now? I have no idea what what time it is anymore, and you guys don't either. So you understand. Blackbird on guitar. As I recall, again, I don't see any real typos on here. I don't have any markings on here, so the arrangement must be pretty playable. And I think, what else should I say about it? I don't think I have that much else to tell you about it. So let's see what we're going to do here. We're going to be that 7/4 measure and measure 5. We just keep coming back to it. It keeps being equally difficult to count. I think get it close, and obviously we're in an ensemble setting here, so you probably have to play what I play. But when you're on your own, get it close. Do what you want with it. And I have seen plenty of 8/4 versions of that melody line there. I've also seen a couple of 6/4s. All right. Play all the way down to measure 11. Then you come back and play from measure 5 all the way down to measure 17. And then you come back and you play the first verse again from measure 5 down to the very bottom. All right, let's give that a try. From the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Guitar to 7. Back to 7. 5. So I was doing okay. Felt like, yep, I got this song figured out till the 10-8-5, right? For me, it's gonna have to be. So it's remembering that when you get to the 10-8-5, this guitar has no dot on either 9 or 10. It drives me bananas. That's what we got. All right, so there's that. Still got to get that. So I'm down to the last 3 or 4 measures there, trying to get that straightened out. All right. Questions, comments, or concerns? That song is peaceful in its own way. I think it's sort of just. I don't like the ending. If I were to talk to John and Paul and I'd say that ending isn't really working for me, but they don't. They didn't really care my opinion, so it is what it is. And I think, I think that ending's pretty close to what they do. They do it a lot more exciting, probably because they're John and Paul, but sounds okay. All right, next up on our list of the hits is While My Guitar Gently Weeps. While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Dink. Okay. This is a pretty long song. This song is funny. We were playing this on Baritone Ukulele for a concert a couple weeks back, and I got where and it's basically the same version, but you guys have extra strings, so I gave you the more extra string version of it, and this is quite a bit harder to play than the baritone version. So, if you have a baritone ukulele and you want to make your life easier, I will be more than happy to send you that. It's not that much different than what's here, so. Um, but yeah, of course, you're here because you want to play guitar. So let's give this a try and see how we're doing. There's the booger. That's better. All right. From the top, while my guitar gently weeps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Six, 7, 7, 9. Isn't that lovely? That's a lovely tune. Um, Takes a lot of work, a lot of focus. The whole time I'm like, oh god, I'm gonna blow it, I'm gonna blow it, um, and blew it a little bit. Not. I got enough of that where you would know what song that is. That's about all I got there tonight. Um, uh, Definitely harder than the baritone version of that. So if you were wondering, I was playing it with the other group and it was seemed not quite that hard. It's hard. All right, let's play. Here Comes the Sun. G H. Here Comes the Sun. This was new last week. Um, all right. The only thing with this one here, I think that ending section there where you're got a lot of eighth notes in a row. That's kind of hard. Other than that, this song, at least the bulk of this song is pretty playable, I think. And so hopefully you've been having fun with it. Let's give it a try. From the top, 4-beat countdown, a little bit more upbeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go back to the top and go. Here you go. Go back to 48 and go. Oops, I went the wrong direction. Sorry, guys. Hit the wrong button. Go. My note here from last week says Arlo says try the fifth position. It will work better. I will tell you that I'm going to try the fifth position this week because that doesn't go very well for me. Most of the song plays pretty well, I think. A lot of D chord in there. Not brutal, but definitely worth some attention to. Guys, couple of thoughts here. I've got two other pieces coming your way this week, along with DGO Mysteries Super Secret Song number 3 is going to come at you, and so we're going to talk here in just a second about Super Secret Song number 2, and let's see, what else do I have to tell you about? I'm going to take a couple days off, but it's not going to affect the guitar program for you guys here at night. It'll affect the daytime people, but other than that, I don't have anything fancy coming up. My intention, guys, is just to keep throwing Beatles at you through the winter here, and then we'll see where we stand health-wise in the spring. For those of you guys that are out of town, I'm going to continue doing something for you as well. Obviously, I think the daytime classes are probably going to go on for forever. I'm getting a lot out of them, and hopefully you're getting something out of them. And then the nighttime classes, locally here, the orchestras, I'm not exactly positive what we're going to be doing. I really want to get back together, and I really want to start playing, but I also don't want anybody to get sick. And so until we figure all that stuff out, I'm not really in a hurry to talk about getting back together. I know it's important. I know you guys want to do it, and I know you should be doing it, right? It's what we're doing. What this kind of music is not something you just see people making out there. And if you see any guitar ever, it's a solo classical guitar player, and very rarely in academia do they have guitar orchestra where they get usually a bunch of kids that are trapped in a room, about 16 of them for an entire semester playing the same 6 songs, and then they have a guitar orchestra, and it's lovely. But in the community, it's a whole different ball of wax, much harder to do. And the work you guys are doing right now is very unusual and very hard to do, and so hopefully you're proud of that. Vic says keep them coming. Okay, I will. while I enjoy arranging and writing for the other instruments, there's something unique about guitar for me because I'm always on the other instruments. I'm always having to noodle them around to actually fit on the instrument. With this instrument, it's wide open. I can do whatever I want, and which is a blessing and a curse in some ways. And so we're going to keep those coming. And tonight we'll play this will be our last look at DGO Mysteries number 2. I've already found number 3. I'm very excited. I'm positively over the moon about number 3. So I think again, with these things, it's not necessary to play standard notation as a guitarist, unless you're going into academia and then you have to play it. So jazz or classical guitar in a college, you have to play it. But these days with software, there's no reason whatsoever to be playing from standard sheet music, except many of you want to just know how to do it. You just want to get better at stuff. You just want to keep trying new things and pushing your brain out, expending those noodle appendages up there. And so that's why we're doing some of this. Some of you guys have told me, hey, I really would like to be able to learn to read standard notation on guitar. And I think probably what you're finding overall is the amount of work you put into Secret Song number 2 is equal to all of the work that you put into all of the other songs. And so let's talk about it. I do want to talk. Joni sent me a fascinating email, and Joni logs into almost all of these, or she sits in on almost all of our guitar time, but doesn't usually log in. And so sometimes I'll get 3 days after the lesson, I'll get an email. Hey, you said this, but it didn't make any sense. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Somebody's telling me when I said it don't make sense. And so her question on this one, I thought was a good one. Is this just melody? Is this chords and melody? Do we need to put in chords? What do we need? How do we think about the upper notes and the lower notes? And I wrote her back. He says, well, let's talk about it tonight. But I think the way I think about it is, it's just melody. It's just melody. There is no spot. If I looked through this earlier, I don't think at any place in this song do you play 2 notes at the same time. Now, obviously, as our songs get more complex, that will start happening. But at least with this song, there are sounds happening at the same time, but there's no time when you have to play 2 notes at once. So I want to walk through and talk about how there are chords hiding under here. I put chords in because that's what I do. I just think finding the chords and sticking them in, it feels awesome to me. But you don't, they're not there. They're not in the piece. I know if I wrote it, I would put chords in and it would sound cooler. But what we're really playing is a straight melody line. Look at all of it. It's all over the paper. If this was on tablature, it would just be a straight, plain old melody line. That's all you would have. And so when you see all this stuff on here, you're like, well, that seems like a fairly inefficient system. But really, this song is 1 note at a time, top to bottom, and nothing else. The hard part is just figuring out which note and which fingers to use. So I want to start with, because this piece doesn't have any key signature, there's no sharps or flats in there, and because the first bass note is an A, those are both clues that you're probably going to be in an A minor. So I put an A minor shape on, just as I would when we're playing one of our fingerstyle pieces. Put the A minor chord on, okay, and then see how many notes you can get just by having that down. So your first note is a C, and it says on the paper, play it with a 1, okay, which it should because you're holding your A minor. And then your next note is this A down here. Okay, so while it's not a melody we would write for fingerstyle or in popular music, that's all the melody says is play this note and then play this note. And then you're going to take your index finger off and play this note. And then the next note, you're already holding it down. It's on this 3rd string. And you notice the lower note, it's a half note tied to a quarter note. So it's actually, the whole time, this thing is just supposed to be ringing along while you're playing that. Then once you hit this note on the 3rd string, then you'll hit that A again. And then you go, the next note at the end of measure 1 is this C again. And then use your pinky to play the E note. I'm sorry, I wrote E chord above that, but play the D note with your pinky. And then notice your low note is now, instead of an A, it's the E. And then pick your pinky up. You're still holding down this first string, this first fret. You lift that up. You're going to hit the bottom note twice. Then you're going to go back, put your pinky back where it was on the third fret. Hit the bottom note. Lose your pinky. That one has yet to move. Lift it up, lift up the one, put it back down, put the pinky down, and then you're gonna, and it feels like it should keep going up, but the song tricks us and goes right back down to the one, hit the A string, lift up your index finger, and then hit this note on the third string, which you're holding down by the E minor, which is an A note. Hit A 2 more times. Okay, that is a place where we're going to now go back to the top of the paper and play the top part a second time. The sheet music is super unclear here. I've been treating it as a repeat, but it really doesn't say that, does it? It doesn't really say that. So forget what I was about to say. I've been playing that first part twice, then playing down the bottom, and then going back to the top. But it doesn't say that on the paperwork. It says keep on playing. It doesn't have a repeat there, so there's no reason to repeat to the top, Gary. And so let's keep going on. Let's go on to the next measure. We're at measure 8. Okay, that has a 0 on the first string, then 2 A's. And then the next note is an F note, which is a 1. So your index finger drops here. And then when you see those D's show up, which is the next low notes, I guarantee you're in D minor. Okay, it's a friend of A minor. So I'm dropping into my D minor chord shape, and look what the very next note is. It's that D note again, but I'm holding it down with my ring now. And then I can go get the C note. I got to move my index finger up, put my D ring back down, and then open first string. Then you're on to the measure 13. You got your index fingers already in the right spot. Hit the 2 A's. Pinky up here on the D note, E notes, and then B is an open note. That's your open second string. If you're holding down the A minor shape, you already are holding down the A next. Go back to the B, A minor shape, index finger on the first fret. That note pulls through. Again, hit the high E, A, F, 2 Ds. You're already, if you've got your D minor on, put your A minor on. C again, D, D, C, B, A. Now you do go to the top of the page, de capo al fine, and we just play the beginning part again. Whoops. There's your fine right there. Is that bum, bum. Now, if I'm rewriting this song, those two bum, bums at the end sound ridiculous. I just want it to end on bum, on the first note in that measure, but the sheet music says play those last two notes. So really, if you notice, we only played one note at a time. Sometimes we're playing the melody up here, and sometimes we're playing the melody down here on these deeper strings. And the sheet music's pretty clear. Let those lower notes ring, right? There's one place where there's a rest in there, measure 2. They show up once in a while, and basically what the composer is telling you: play the A's, stop the A string, play the E string for a while, stop that, play the A some more, stop that. So he's got a rest in between every time that you switch strings. So you should not, be playing a D string while your A string is still ringing out. Just stop it with the palm, the heel of your thumb. Whatever you need to do, and just to stop it from ringing. Let's play through it a couple of times and see how close you came out. I have been throughout practicing on this where I'm holding the chord and then moving it around. I think that generally speaking, it's a little bit easier to do that. The other thing I've been working on myself is really, you can absolutely play this whole thing with your thumb. It's all one note at a time. You can play with your thumb, but I've been making myself do the claw because I want to continue to develop just the overall feeling of where everything is here on the guitar. Okay, so grab your A minor and let's see how far we do. Really slow. 1, 2, 3. Probably don't just let that ring out at the end. It says play a quarter note. So on classical music or on academic music, if it says a quarter note, you should probably shut it down after that. Did you get it close, or is it about what you got on your paper, about what's coming out of your guitar? And remember, honestly, you got 9 notes total in this piece, 9, and it's a whole lot of music with just 9 notes, and it's kind of fun to just be like, oh God, please, 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 and it's different than what we usually do, right? We like to do songs that we've heard of, and we like to toss in a ton of chords and make them kind of exciting and fun. But this one, a lot more contemplative. Bum ba dum ba dum bum bum bum. Bum ba da 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 dum bum bum. Bum bum ba da da dum. Right? It's got a little bit of rock and roll in it for a fairly sparse song. Vic says, "I'm doing okay on the secret songs." Yeah, Vic, right? They take a lot of work, but I do think I think on some ways the work pays off in a different way than we usually play guitar. This usually I'm like, get it close, move on. it's John and Paul, right? Get it close. But when you're playing something like this, you kind of want to get it pretty close to right. And so let's play it one more time. How are we doing on time? It's 9 o'clock. We'll wrap it up. Play it one more time, and then we'll get out of here. And thank you guys for coming every Thursday night. I know it's one more thing that you have to do in front of a computer, which is sort of a bummer. But let's finish up with this one last time. And again, guys, if you're sending me emails, I will get to them. I apologize. There may be some of you who've sent me emails and said, I need this or that, and I haven't responded yet. But I'm hoping this weekend to get some emails caught up with. So let's give it a try. One last time. 1, 2, 3. Sorry. To the top. I don't know how long to leave that to run. I don't like that ending, but what are you going to do? So hopefully that is coming out of your guitar sort of like it's coming out of mine, hopefully better. And that's that. You guys have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful weekend. Some of you are, I understand, are able to start lining up for the shot. So please do that so that I don't have to worry about you. And that's about all I know about how I'm playing guitar. Hopefully it's coming together. And Joni, if you're listening, hopefully that gave you some sense of how I would play it, and also answered your question, which is this just a melody line? Yeah, if this was tablature, it should be one note at a time thing. But since it's this way, it looks much more complicated than it is. But they're being fairly specific on here about thumb versus melody notes. And they treat thumb notes as the chord, more or less. The other thing on this piece of paper, which I'm ignoring, is it says middle index, middle index. It's because these are exercises for newer players. You're supposed to do that. I'm a fingerstyle player, so I'm going after it in a more traditional fashion. So anyway, hopefully that's going well. Give me the weekend. I will. If you haven't signed up for the email list, it's at denverguitarorchestra.com. Just go put your name and email in there, and I'll put you on the list. And that way you get the sheet music. Last time I sent it out, a couple of you either didn't get it or didn't pay enough attention. But I'll put the new music directly on there, so that you can just link straight out of the email, and you don't have to email me a second time to get it. The next piece that we have as our DGO mystery super secret song number 3, it is going to have places where we play 2 notes at once. Okay, so that's a new skill, and it's in the key of D, which is very exciting. That's not true. It's in the key of A, but it sort of feels like it's in the key of D, and so it technically, it's in the key of A. I should do that. So anyway, I'll send that to you, and hopefully you can mess around with that and see what comes out. Vic, thanks for being here. Pauline, thanks. Evelyn, hasta mañana. See you tomorrow probably. Kyla, so good to see you. It's really exciting. Arlo, good to have you here tonight. Who else was in here that I didn't say hi to? I think that's everybody, right? And whoever else is hanging out up here. Thanks for being here. If you're logged in and you hit the thumbs up, I get a free puppy, and so I appreciate you doing that. And I will see all of you either next week. Yes, next week at this time slot, or I will see you tomorrow morning for our Friday concert. Our Friday concert's out of control this week, so we'll see how much we get through on that. Have a great night, everybody. Pulling the plug.